It's looking like Christmas in here.
Here, I'll go this side. I was gonna let the guys stand beside you.
Yes, sir. Well, good afternoon, and thank you for being here. And in just a moment, I'm going to announce a change in cabinet leadership, and I suspect the suspense of that announcement is gone with the people who walked into the room with me. But first, I want to update you on the severe weather that is pushing its way through Louisiana. In fact, we've already had one band of severe weather that moved through Louisiana and is from west to east and is already in Mississippi. The Crisis Action Team through the Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness has been activated. We have received numerous reports of tornadoes from central Louisiana, and severe thunderstorm warnings have been issued across the state. We are receiving various reports of damages across central Louisiana. It appears that one fatality has been confirmed by the Vernon Parish Sheriff's Office. Certainly we're praying for that family and for all of our first responders and all of Louisianans who may be in harm's way. And we're asking that everyone pay attention to their local news, to the National Weather Service, and heed whatever warnings they are given, because we know that severe weather is going to continue to push across Louisiana for the next several hours. And now, for the reason that we're here today, I'm going to announce the retirement of Major General Glenn Curtis as the Adjutant General of Louisiana National Guard. General Curtis has served in a tremendous way in this role since November of 2011, and his retirement comes after decades of military service, not to try to make you feel old, General Curtis, that began in 1982. And I can tell you personally that it has been a tremendous honor and privilege for me to work with General Curtis, and his leadership has been stellar. It's been steadfast, and his service to the people of our state has been just simply outstanding. And with us today is Brigadier General Keith Waddell, who I am promoting from Assistant Adjutant General to replace General Curtis as the Adjutant General. This change will be official as of January the 10th, 2020, and we will hold a formal change of command ceremony early next year. I want to thank General Curtis for his distinguished service to our state, to our nation, and personally for his support during my first term as governor. You know as well as I do that it was a very challenging term, and we had numerous natural disasters and some man-made incidents and some cyber attacks and so forth. The severe flooding, you all remember those things, but he was there every single step of the way with steadfast, sterling leadership. During the 2016 flood and every major weather threat that we've faced since, General Curtis and the National Guard and all of our soldiers and our airmen have worked around the clock to ensure that our citizens were safe. If not for their swift and coordinated efforts, I can assure you that many more lives would have been lost during the floods and much more property would have been damaged as well. Not only has General Curtis worked to protect Louisiana citizens, but also our neighbors in other states have called upon him and our soldiers and our airmen when disaster has struck our neighbors as well. I also want to tell you, and this is something we don't often focus on, is the Louisiana National Guard also has a warfighting mission. And at any given time, we have hundreds of soldiers and airmen who are deployed across the world, primarily to the Middle East, and that certainly is the case today as well. And I say this to anyone who will listen and to people who don't listen. We have the absolute very best when it comes to the National Guard right here in Louisiana. As you all should know, General Curtis has also been at the forefront of preventing and responding to cybersecurity threats. In 2017, I created the Louisiana Cybersecurity Commission, and General Curtis has served diligently as co-chairman ever since. The National Guard has been instrumental in responding to the multiple cybersecurity attacks that we faced in recent months, and because of their work, we've been able to minimize the impact of these threats. And speaking of cyber attacks, the Louisiana National Guard, as part of Emergency Support Function 17, ESF 17, has been working with the City of New Orleans since Friday due to the intrusion there, the cyber attack there. EF-17 was immediately activated when the call came from New Orleans. Activity is centered on evidence collection and efforts to limit the attack. So far, 10 National Guardsmen personnel have deployed to support the city. Another 25 will join them tomorrow. And all totaled, about 50 individuals have been made available to the city of New Orleans through today. By tomorrow, that count should be closer to 80. GOSEP has hosted daily conference calls since Friday with the city, with OTS, the National Guard, and other agencies involved with the state's response. And all teams will continue that work through the city's restoration process. You should also know that EF-17 is also working with Rapides Parish, Washington Parish, and the Orleans Sheriff's Departments to assess possible cyber attacks upon those agencies as well. And I've said this before, this is the new normal, and not just for Louisiana, but across the country and really across the world. But we are prepared, and we continue to review each of these events to learn more, to put ourselves in a better posture, to learn how to better respond. We have not paid any ransoms and will continue to be proactive with our cybersecurity efforts. And all you have to do is look at the headlines across the country to see how serious and numerous these cybersecurity issues have become. While there have been some similarities with the attacks, several different law enforcement agencies will continue to investigate to determine who is responsible. And this truly is a partnership where we have federal partners, we have multiple state agencies, and then we're working with locals as well. So we've been very fortunate to have General Curtis's expertise as we've navigated our way through these attacks. And because of his knowledge and his experience in this and many other areas, it's no surprise that he was elected twice as president of the Adjutant Generals Association of the United States. Joining General Curtis today is his devoted wife, Jill. And on behalf of the people of Louisiana, Jill, I want to thank you for your sacrifices. These jobs are extremely time-consuming, and by definition, they take up a lot of weekends. And on top of that, we never know, and most often, natural disasters occur when we least want them to. But General Curtis has always responded, and that has required Jill and the family to sacrifice time away from him as well. And we thank you and your entire family for what you've done for the state of Louisiana as well. Now, I'm pleased today that General Waddell, who has been a trusted advisor to General Curtis for a number of years now, will be stepping in to replace him. General Waddell also has had a distinguished career as an educator and a coach. He currently serves as assistant principal of Westlake High School. I'd imagine there are actually many skills that will transfer from that career to his new role as adjutant general, because commanders are, in fact, coaches. I'd imagine also that he is going to enjoy being the adjutant general as much as he has enjoyed being an educator, an assistant principal, and a coach, and that he's going to do at least as well. He graduated from LSU and also has a master's in strategic studies from the U.S. Army War College. He's currently working on his master's in Homeland Security from Northwestern State University. He served on active duty at Fort Polk for 4 years and has served in the Louisiana National Guard for 25 years. He mobilized and served as a battalion commander, an engineer battalion commander, during Operation Iraqi Freedom. He is a certified teacher and administrator in Louisiana. He's also been named High School Coach of the Year in baseball in 2003 and basketball in 2005. He was also named the District Coach of the Year multiple times in a variety of sports through his 18-year coaching career. General Waddell resides in Lake Charles with his wife, Lisa. They have 3 children and 3 grandchildren. And I am supremely confident that our National Guard is in good hands, and I look forward to years of continued partnership with you, General Waddell. While I pray for good fortune and calm times for our state, I am confident that should we face adversity, our Louisiana National Guard will always be ready and stand strong to assist the people of Louisiana. And as we always know, it's not a question of if, it really is a question of when. So I want to thank you again, General Curtis and General Waddell, for your years of service to the state. I'm going to ask that General Curtis make some remarks. He'll be followed by General Waddell, and then I will come back up should you have any questions for me. But General Curtis.
All right. Well, thank you, Governor, and thank you for reappointing me 4 years ago and allowing me to continue to serve this great state and this great nation. I tell you, you and I jumped off into it really quick with floods, and we've been going ever since. But you are the right leader for this state at the right time. I tell people all the time, you make decisions based on facts and not assumptions, and you always tell us just do the right thing. I'd like to thank you and the First Lady for all your support of our guardsmen, their families, and the veterans across the state of Louisiana. I mean, you go out of your way to make sure that we are taken care of and that we have the assets that we need and that our veterans are taken care of as a thank you for their service over the years. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank my lovely wife back here. She's been my partner now for 34 years. I had to do some counting real quick. But anyway, she's always been there for me from my early days all the way through here to the end. And so I love you, and I appreciate your friendship and being my partner through this. John Waddell, congratulations to you. Lisa, congratulations to you. They will make a tremendous command team for the Louisiana National Guard. I've known Keith Waddell since he was a young captain. He's either worked directly for me or been one step removed from me basically his entire career since then. He's a steadfast leader, makes great decisions, has great vision, will take this organization to new heights of readiness and preparedness, both for the two reasons that we exist. One, for the war fight, and two, to respond for our citizens here in the state or in our homeland when the worst day in America, Louisiana, comes. With that, Governor, again, thank you so much for allowing me to serve in this capacity for the 4 years I worked with you, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much,
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Governor Edwards. Thank you for the opportunity to serve as the Adjutant General, Louisiana National Guard. I'm honored and humbled to lead one of the premier military organizations in the world. Thanks for your faith and confidence in me, sir. Really appreciate that. General Curtis, thanks for your leadership, mentorship, and friendship for nearly 25 years. Best of luck to you and Miss Jill. Excuse me, Jill. On the next chapter of your lives. Sir, appreciate your support once again. Look forward to working closely with you and the First Lady. And thanks again for the opportunity of a lifetime. I really appreciate it, sir. Thank you, sir.
So the actual change, again, will be January the 10th. There will be a change of command ceremony that we will schedule after that. And, of course, we try to do that around drill weekends to make sure that we have access to the soldiers and airmen so that they're available to take part in that. So with that, I'm going to open it up for questions. Yes, sir.
Governor, in response to the severe weather, specifically in Alexandria, do you plan on visiting?
Yeah, we are still communicating with them to try to determine exactly what the scope of damage is and whether that visit is necessary. The other thing is when would it be safe to do that and whether we would be able to fly or go by ground. We're going to make those decisions over the next, I guess, few hours. As of right now, no parish has actually requested any assistance from the state. And that certainly could change, but we're monitoring this. And the other thing that I want to make sure people are aware of, this is an ongoing weather event because there's more severe weather to push through. And in fact, what the National Weather Service had told us to be concerned about was from 2 o'clock today to 9 o'clock tonight. This actually happened earlier today. So the weather that we've been warned about through the National Weather Service hasn't even come to bear yet. Not to saying it's going to be worse, but I hope it's not. But everybody should be mindful that we have severe weather yet to come through the state of Louisiana. Yes, sir.
Governor, could you give us your thoughts on the actions of the REC last week and also on the actions of Treasurer Schroeder to withhold funds?
Well, first of all, with the REC, we've seen that before. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't think it serves any valid purpose or confers any advantage on anyone. The fact of the matter is we have an REC process that was itself a good government reform so that it's not the governor who is both estimating the amount of revenue that's going to come in a given year and then budgeting to that amount. And so we took it out of the hands of the governor. We have the three-person panel. It's actually four when you consider the economist who's part of the panel. And then they are informed, their decisions are informed by two separate economists, one who works for the administration, one that works for the legislature. You know, I guess it's possible that after the new leadership is put into place in the legislature on January the 13th, an REC meeting could be held before the executive budget submission would be given to the legislature on February the 7th. But I'm not sure that that's going to happen. There's a lot of timing issues there. And so it's, I guess, likely right now that we will see the same thing we did last year, where there won't be an executive budget presented to the legislature, but I will share with the legislature what my priorities are for appropriations once the REC does actually adopt a forecast. And with respect to the treasurer, you know, we're looking at that. I don't believe the treasurer has the right to not follow through on appropriation that has been made by the legislature. But that's something we're going to be talking about and taking a look at. Yes, ma'am.
I actually have questions for General Curtis.
Well, good.
All right, yes, ma'am.
In terms of looking back on your tenure, what do you think were the hardest moments as Adjutant General, and what are you going to be doing upon retirement?
Let's see, the hardest moments. I'll try to stay straight-faced here. When we had to bury kids. I was worried that question might come. So there are three numbers I carry with me every day. It's 59, 6, and 48. It's 59 combat deaths, 6 training losses, and 48 suicides. Those are worse. As far as retirement, I plan on spending more time with my wife and at home. And I do plan to go back into the private sector and take advantage of some business opportunities. Huh? Thank you.
Anything else?
Just to get back to the treasurer situation, is it y'all understanding there's a specific law that directs him to do what has been done in the past, or was it more?
Well, there's an appropriation. The appropriation is a statute. It's a law.
Are you intending to sue over that issue?
We'll have more information on that to come.
On the cyber attack in New Orleans,
Yeah.
is it expected that there'll be a declaration of state of emergency?
Well, we already have a declaration of emergency that is currently in place, and it covers this particular incident. It may be necessary at some point to extend that declaration of emergency, but the National Guardsmen, the GOSEP, others are already operating under that declaration of emergency. Yes, that's enabled them to very quickly to respond and provide resources and additional resources. You know, like I said, tomorrow I think another 25 National Guardsmen will go to New Orleans. And this really is the new normal. And just look at what's happening around the country. It's, you know, this isn't precise, but it seems to me this is happening every week to 10 days here in Louisiana. And so we are working very hard with our federal partners and with universities and researchers and scholars, but also high-tech IT companies that are here in Louisiana to learn as much as we can, put ourselves in the best possible posture. But then we have to get local political subdivisions and their agencies in the best possible posture as well to prevent these attacks as well. And so there's always lessons to be learned. The people on the other side are smart, and they try to stay at least one step ahead of the good guys. And I guess that's been the experience with criminal enterprises since the very first one in history. I don't know which one that was, but they always try to stay one step ahead of the good guys, and they certainly try to do that with respect to cyber attacks as well.
Okay, last one, guys.
Do you expect any other changes to your cabinet?
We will make announcements as there are announcements to be made. I did, just fresh back from New York, I did want to just mention what a real treat it was for me. It was a thrill to go to New York to see the Heisman Trophy awarded to LSU's quarterback Joe Burrow, and then to see him respond as he did by crediting his team, and particularly his offensive line and his coach for taking a chance on him. I will tell you that was a great opportunity for me. I know how much Joe Burrow, that team, that program means to our state. But now it's Monday. It's time to get back to business, and that's for me, but it's also for the LSU football team because they have a game to win on the 28th. And when they do that, they have another one to win on the 13th, and we're going to be celebrating a number of really good things here in the state on January the 13th. God bless y'all, and thank you.